But my God, I think they've absolutely knocked it out of the park. I actually really quite like it.
I like it. It's good.
I think it's really good. I'm not a fan of it at all. That is an absolute banger.
Servus und willkommen zum The Kit Breakdown. Und jetzt haben wir ein neues Trikot von Deutschland.
Sehr gut, sehr gut. Yeah.
So, yeah, I look forward to the comments on that, how poor my accent was, and no doubt my grammar. But we'll go with it. Hey, at least I tried. Most English people would just speak more slowly and loudly in English.
Or smash the place
Or
up.
smash the place up. Yeah, there'd be plastic garden furniture going all over the place. So today we have got the big rivalry, Germany against England. So I think it's going to be interesting to compare these two shirts today, partly because it's also Nike versus Adidas. But then also, we know that Germany are going to be moving to Nike kit for the first time ever.
Absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe that's happening.
Totally.
It is mental.
It's crazy. So I'm going to start with the Germany home replica shirt, which to a certain extent, I think we've seen worse pro shirts than this.
Right, okay.
It feels to me like there's a lot of value in this shirt. And I think it's important for us to remind everybody that a football shirt is more valuable than the cost of its constituent parts. There's the thought, the construction, everything that goes into it. And this is lovely. So it's got, I'm not sure if that's I think it is a jacquard into it. Yeah, so it's got the jacquard of what appears to be the DFB logo built into it, which is really nice. So jacquard is where the pattern's knitted into the fabric. Really nice, not cheap to do.
Yeah.
It used to be, back in the 90s, it was jacquards were everywhere, and then fabric mills kind of figured out how much longer it was taking them and started charging more. So this one, I think, very clearly takes a lot of cues from the 2006 Team Geist collections that the Adidas teams were wearing at that World Cup.
Love the look of that.
It's a really, really good looking kit. I think the inserts aren't just providing colour, it's a completely different fabric. So within there we've got more of a regular mesh, then we've got the more detailed mesh that's more lightweight to the sides. Definitely feels a lot more in keeping with what you'd see on a pro shirt. Obviously with it being for the fans, they've gone for the embroidery and then the woven badge that's embroidered on it as well. When I first saw the press releases of this with the detail on the shoulders, I didn't really love it. It felt, I don't know, a bit kind of cut off at the sleeve and like they could have done more with it. But seeing it on pitch, it actually looks really nice.
Well, the one thing I would say, which is absolutely stunning, and you can see the image here, but they've done the training top that they wear before they go out, and it basically is that. But it's the whole kit, and it's jet black down the arms, and this just is rising up, and you'll see the image just here. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's stunning.
What Adidas have done this season, I think they have absolutely knocked it out of the park. Some of the kits they've done, some of the training gear, some of the collabs. I mean, even what they've done with Newcastle United, which we'll get to that in another episode. But my God, I think they've absolutely knocked it out of the park.
It's superb, and I think the areas where fans may not see the value. So we've talked in other videos around how they've used a flat knit rib on the collar. So with this one, they've constructed it with fabric, and then it's got a self fabric that's kind of turned and stitched over the top, or it might be a tape. So it's just got more construction and more, I guess, perceived value from a fan's perspective. So I am a big fan of that. I also like that they've brought the mesh around the back for the part that, according to the rules, should be tucked into the players' shorts. So solid material for the numbers and then stripped away everywhere else. And I think the whole Adidas thing for this year definitely seems to be reducing weight and increasing airflow.
Not really good, like that a lot. Right, so I've now got the replica. I've actually got the replica and the pro kit from the England home kit. This came in under a little bit of scrutiny.
A little bit.
Because of the colourful St George's cross on the back, which, in my humble opinion, a bit of a storm in a teacup. But I actually really quite like it.
I like it. It's good.
I think it's really good.
So I've never had so many phone calls off journalists as I did when that.
Yeah, I think I did about 3 interviews around this thing. So keep it going, Nike.
Yeah,
it's great.
non-stop.
But yeah, I actually really quite like it. I think all the colours that have been put in go back to the Alf Ramsey era, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on the purple, but I know from working with Peter Saville and obviously yourself, Stuart Scott Curran, a few of the guys on the England kit that we did that had the multicoloured crosses all over it. Purple was a colour that we used because it's the colour of royalty. Yeah. And so, it does have a purpose. It's not just arbitrarily being put in there.
No. So I think overall, if I was just looking at this as purely a replica kit and I hadn't seen the pro version, I'd say it's okay. I'm not a massive fan of the fanny collar, as I would call it. But I mean, it's all right. But when it's down on the table like this, you think, it's not as bad as I thought. But off screen, I actually tried this.
Well, you were going to wear it for the video, weren't you?
I was going to wear it for the video.
Hastily changed your mind.
And went straight back into my gear because the neckline actually sits really low. I'm not a fan of it at all.
Yeah.
I think that kit would have just been so much nicer if it had just been a navy V-neck or something. But by and large, it's okay. It's not that bad. I don't mind the detail on the arm there where it's not a flat rib. It's actually 2 layers, but it's not too bad. And I actually quite like the short. So when you see them in the image here, you'll see the whole head to toe.
Yeah.
I actually think it looks really quite smart. So it's okay. I'd probably give that something like I don't know if I'd go 7. I'd probably go 6 out of 10. I would go for that, or 6 out of 11. So okay, if I was going to put my money on anything, obviously I'm only going to buy an England kit because I don't support Germany, but I do prefer the Adidas Germany kit. But when you get into the replica, the authentic, it goes up a notch. Fabric wise, really nice. The badges are absolutely stunning. The amount of detail that they've managed to get into that is just so nice. So it doesn't really go too far other than that. There's the fabric, there's the badges, but
is it still the same rib?
It's pretty much exactly the same, So it's same neckline. So again, I think they've hit the post a little bit on that. But it's okay. It's okay. I don't think it's England's best kit, but it's certainly a damn sight better than the last one we're in. What I do like, though, is I quite like this away kit that they've done. So this is the replica, and I think this is lovely. The fact that they've kind of gone away from tradition, if you like, with regards to whether we would normally play in a red or sometimes we've been in a blue. I do like that. I think it's really smart. But what I like more about this, Rob, is the fact that they've been quite ballsy around like WOKEST and stuff.
Yeah.
And they've played around with it. And what I would encourage you to do is have a look at some of the lifestyle product that I'm just showing you here. Some of that stuff is really, really nice. But again, from a replica perspective, I think it's okay. But visually, I think it's a great looking kit. And the only criticism that I would give them, I understand why they've done it, because on a lot of the other kits it's colour blocked differently, but it just doesn't look right. It's got like a seam through the neckline, which for me just I'm not having that.
In a solid colour it looks
it just
like a mistake.
It just doesn't work for me at all. It looks really weird, and with my OCD that would absolutely play havoc with us. But I do quite like the crest, do quite like the colour, quite ballsy, like that one.
Well, if we talk about breaking from tradition,
that is an absolute banger.
Yeah, I mean they've not hit any posts at all with this one. So I've actually got the authentic here of the Germany away, and it's just absolutely stunning. I think
Bijou,
very
fantastic.
I think with the credit to the Adidas design team, but also to the German Football Federation for signing up to have something that is so different than what they've had previously with the traditional greens and and more of darker shades that they've had. It's just really nice. Obviously got the pink details running right the way throughout it. Same features that we've seen on all the other pro kits that Adidas have done this season.
Yeah.
The graphics lovely. I think for me it feels a bit Euro 96, and also I've not read any PR stuff around the graphic, but to me it kind of makes me think of perhaps the Eagles' feathers coming from the national team's crest.
Yeah.
And it's just dead nice. It's got the flat knit rib, the collar's beautifully finished with a tape. It's not just turned back and stitched. It's just really, really nicely made. Even the detail around the hem of where it kind of cuts towards from the back to the front. Yeah. Just the whole thing, really considered, feels really functional. Only negative, I would say again, is just how flat the fabric is.
I do worry that.
I do worry that would stick to the athlete when they start
it
sweating.
Is. I mean, if you've seen any of the Euro games that they've been playing in this, it's really sticking to them. Yeah, it's an absolute cracker. That.
Yeah, I mean, the other things I love about it, getting into the details, I know you're not a massive fan of the kind of glossy stripes, but we've also seen that around the outlines of the numbers on some of the Nike kits as well. So there's definitely a bit of a glossy thing coming through. Yeah. But what I really like is they've got this kind of triangular texture that's built into the stripes and into the into the Adidas logo. Yeah. Hopefully you can see that in the light. And then in terms of the 4 stars for the World Cup wins, that's done as if it's an embroidery, even though it's nice. Obviously heat applied. So yeah, it's just really nice, really thoughtful. And I think when we come to see Nike taking over from Adidas, I'm not entirely sure when it's due to start, if it's for the next World Cup or if it's...
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but...
it's going to be so weird though, man.
It's going to be weird, and it's going to be a really tough act to follow, to be honest. I think Adi's kits have just got better and better over the last few years.
100%. So how does it compare to the replica that you've got there? Is a replica?
Yeah, so I think similar to what we've seen with other Adidas replica and pro shirts, they've taken the key features and just applied them in a way that perhaps offers more value to a fan. So the 3 stripes beautifully applied with the chain stitch over the top, so it's nice and flat inside. Self fabric to the outside. They've used this tape through the collar rather than having the mesh. So that's a really nice detail finish. Nice and neat inside where they've embroidered the crest on, so there isn't loads of.
I love the size that Adidas have done their badges in though. They're huge.
Yeah, well, because I guess the way of measuring crests and logos for international tournaments can vary from tournament to tournament depending on the federation, and so sometimes it's measured in a box and sometimes you're allowed to delete the negative space. So in this instance it looks like they've been able to delete the negative space and go big with it.
Yeah, I love it.
And I think for me it's not just a nice stylistically, but it balances out so well with the crest as well, with it being a bigger size.
100%.
I think the other thing I really like is that they've contrasted out the stars, whereas on the England kit it feels a little bit more shy and humble. And it isn't contrasted out. So yeah, with this, a lot of similar details to what we've seen in the pro shirt. They've got the different textures across the 3 fabrics, which is really nice. It's interesting that they've printed onto a pink base fabric rather than just using white fabric and printing the whole lot. So that adds a bit more value to it and keeps the colour more consistent right the way across. I just think generally they've done a...
How would you compare that to the England kit then? Do you think there is a comparison, or?
I think I prefer the fabric on the England kit compared to this, but then this has got a print all over it, so you probably wouldn't want the texture. I think if I'm thinking of it from a fan's perspective, then we've got far more here than you would normally get on a regular replica shirt. So I love it. I think if I was going to pick a winner out of England and Germany here, for me, it's Deutschland all the way.
Okay, cool.
What would you think?
Yeah, I'd agree. 100%. Deutschland. Sorry, guys.
Put national pride to one side if you're English. Let us know what you think if you had hands on both kits. Which do you think looks better on pitch? We'd love to know. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and please leave us a comment. We'd really love to know what your thoughts are. Did we get it right, or did we hit the post as well on this one? Until next time, take care, and we'll see you on the kit breakdown.